Alright, so this is a very special thing about Armut. Armut is very, very good on certain champs every meta. There's always, like, when Jarvan top lane was meta, he was very good at Jarvan top lane. When Dr. Mundo was top lane, it was meta in top lane, he was very good at Mundo. So he has his champions where he can really take over a game. But other than that, he usually just is consistent. Like, he doesn't really overwhelm you with his kind of mechanics or like his playstyle, but he also never really does bad. So it's something, it's a top lane that you can rely on, definitely. And he's also a pretty good friend of mine. We've actually hung out so many times back in Turkey when I was playing in Turkey. And we also had the kind of rivalry because back in Turkey, I would say I was the best top laner there. And he was the kind of top laner who slowly was rising and eventually came close to the level that I was playing, which kind of has like a really nice history. The Turkish community actually really liked that we're going to be playing against each other. It's definitely going to be a really, really hype match, and I'm sure the Twitch chat is going to be full of the Turkish community, and it's going to be really fun. It was the same actually when I was in Turkey. I was in NA with Closer. It was really hyped.
BrokenBlade was like at season 6. I faced him in like really random tournament or something. I was like top lane for like 3 weeks, and when I played against BrokenBlade, I was like, holy shit, this guy is like so different from the others. Like he had like so much skill that I never seen in some people. I was really impressed, and I told my friends that this guy will be someone big, someone important. Like this guy was playing really good, and yeah, I mean.
Welcome back, everyone, to the LEC studio. What a fantastic little interview there, because Schalke 04 and Mad Lions, they're up next, and they're featuring a classic matchup from the TCL between Armut and BrokenBlade. So we wanted to dive a little bit deeper into their history and their rivalry, and for that, we have a caster from the Turkish league, the TCL, Kursad here. Merhaba, hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for joining us. We also obviously love the TCL broadcasts, and we know how passionate your fans are. So can you tell me a bit more specifically, maybe first about Armut, who has spent his entire career in the TCL and now has finally found his way to the LEC. What were kind of the highlights of his time in the TCL so far?
So first of all, thanks for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here and talk about my boys, Armut and BrokenBlade from TCL. So Armut started his pro career in 2014. He only played for a single game. He was playing mid lane and he was playing Zerat. And after that, it was over. But he came back in 2016. And actually in the VTR before, he mentioned that tournament. He was playing in the TCS Challenger Series. And he was able to promote his team to TCL. And for a couple of years, he was playing for a middle-of-the-pack team. He was growing, he was learning, but 2019 was his big breakthrough. He got signed by Royal Youth, and they formed quite a competitive roster with Closer, with Armut, Pilot, GBM, Dumbledore. And they managed to be the champions in 2019 Summer Split Finals, and that also meant Worlds qualifiers. Armut showcased his talents there. And in 2020, Supermassive signed Armut, and Armut once again became the champions with them. In 2 consecutive years, he was Summer Split champions, and he also managed to compete in Worlds qualifiers again. And you might remember the series against Mad Lions. He was the star of it. And Armut has a thing for silver scrapes. In 2019, 2020, and also against Mad Lions, the series ended up 3-2. So I'm not sure whether he's going to keep his form in LEC, but we're going to have to see.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we'd love to see a silver scrapes when he gets to those best of 5s now over to the competitor. And I gather that they're also friends. Of course, BrokenBlade had a different trajectory. Started his career for most of the time in the TCL, then got picked up by TSM, which was such a big move. And now he finds himself in Schalke. What do you think he will bring to the LEC?
So BrokenBlade, he started to play in 2016 as well, as I mentioned in the TCS. But he had his breakthrough in 2018, and with the same team, Royal Youth, they signed him. But BrokenBlade was never the champions in Turkey. Unfortunately, he was the runner-up in both of the splits in 2018. But then he got transferred by TSM, and I have to admit that I was kind of surprised because TSM is such a big name, and BrokenBlade was basically a no-name back then. But he showed that he he can take the pressure and he can perform on it. And as you know, TSM is such a big brand and they have so many passionate fans. You can't play bad, basically. But Armut, within the big names such as Bjorksen and Doublelift, not Armut, BrokenBlade, sorry, he showcased his talents and he was the star of many of their games. So I think that was great vision from TSM to sign BrokenBlade. And now he's coming back to LEC. So what can you expect from BrokenBlade in LEC? First of all, flashy plays, and you've seen some of those. And highlight reels, you're gonna have some fun because he's such a funny guy, BrokenBlade.
Yeah.
And lastly, he's bringing experience. As I said, playing in LCS, playing in Worlds, playing with big names, he has this experience, and I think that's gonna help Schalke and Ulfia quite a bit.
Oh, wow, wonderful. Thank you for that breakdown. Of course, it isn't easy to start on TSM and then, of course, get the community on you immediately, but he got through that. Now, we almost have to finish off here. I have a little less time than I anticipated, so I'm going to merge the questions that we prepared in one. Talking about their rivalry, which we heard themselves talk about already. How do you think their rivalry is going to translate into the match we're about to see? What are your predictions, and what do you think the community reaction is going to be to these two TCL players matching up versus each other?
I mean, Turkish community loves every second of it because we're gonna get to see Armut versus BrokenBlade, our own boys, and we're gonna enjoy it. I think Armut has the higher skill ceiling, so he has the potential to be the better player. But if you look at things right now, I think BrokenBlade is the better player with his experience in TSM and with his team. I think he's better right now, and I think that's also going to translate to the upcoming game, and Schalke and Ulfia is going to win this one.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much, Kursad, for talking to us. We'll be looking forward to that matchup, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you soon. Good luck over there.
Thank you.
No problem. We'll be sure to keep our eyes on the top lane as Schalke and Mad Lions face off in Game 3.
Thank you very much, Sjokz. I'm Drakos, joined by Caedrel for Game 3, Mad Lions versus Schalke. We heard a ton about both TCL representatives. I sincerely hope that we get a skill-based, very intense matchup.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe we just get one guy just picks a tank.
Yeah, I want to see Elyoya, Camille or something, maybe a Jax. But I think that that's what separates both these players. I think BrokenBlade's more willing to go. He's like a stronger version of a carry than Armut, but Armut's also willing to be more flexible, going for these tanks, whereas BrokenBlade really wants to play carries and carries only, which is kind of interesting because he gets a lot of jungle proximity, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely does. And I think looking across the board, of course, big expectations on both these teams' shoulders to turn their performance around after what we saw yesterday. Crushing defeat from Rogue for Mad Lions yesterday. For Schalke, losing to Astralis, losing to Magifelix. They both need to step it up in their game today.
That's right.
Banger. Is this your favorite one? Mine's Game 5.
Just bob to it.
It's too funky for me. I can't handle it. All right, let's get into the draft. Of course, expectations, we're going to be keeping our eyes on that top lane matchup, but potentially very likely that we see that much later, second phase of the draft. For now, jungler is potentially the priority, and we'll see if there's a major shift in the meta from what we've seen across the game so far this week.
Yeah, interesting to see how the draft pans out. I would be kind of curious if Mad Lions leave Kai'Sa open, because that would mean that Neon gets almost 5 or 6 games of Kai'Sa in a row, which is kind of crazy to me. We're looking at things like the Rell. Olaf has been first picked a few times as well, I think, this weekend, so not super OP, but looking strong. But the GP ban coming out suggests to me that they want to make sure that BrokenBlade doesn't get a good blind pick top laner, which GP is on blue side, so it's going to be a lot more difficult for him to blind pick a carry if Mad Lions save their last pick for top.
And Azir now going to get banned away, been rising in priority pretty steadily here. Feels like one of the best scaling, definitely probably the best scaling mid lane option, even after the 1 or 2 solid core key performances we have seen from Magifelix.
I think an interesting thing about Schalke in general is, although they have a really, really explosive top side, Neon is actually the highest damage dealer for their team. So that just goes to show that even though Neon goes under the radar in playmaking or perhaps actually being flashy, he's actually such a reliable rock for them in these team fights. So giving him something like the Kai'Sa or giving Limit the Rell so that he can adapt in his AD pick is kind of surprising to me. So the Kai'Sa is going to come in. This is the 7th Kai'Sa game for Neon when he's the highest damage dealer on the team and Kai'Sa is the strongest AD in the game. So I think Mad Lions have to take away the Rell, but they should have known that they're going to first pick this. If they leave it open, so they must have a plan.
Probably do, and of course, Carzzy's been one of the early adapters of the Xayah in this meta. Now, a lot of people have opinions on how that matchup actually goes, but I think generally Carzzy has been able to perform well, albeit inconsistently in the lane phase with that pick. So we do fully expect to see the Rell locked in here. Xayah would be an easy follow-up, but definitely some room for Mad Lions to mix up the formula a little bit.
Yeah, and if you look at mages, I think Orianna, Syndra, the new, the best mid laners open when Azir is down. Yes, we've seen the Corki, but I think Orianna scales really, really well into the mid to late game, and Syndra can just pair well with just any jungler in the game that's AD. But the problem in the meta right now is because Pantheon's nerfed and he's not a jungler anymore and he can't really be picked, and Olaf's a bit weaker, there's not that many AD junglers open, especially with Graves down. So I like the Orianna pickup. I just need to see an AD jungler paired with it, or a really strong top side, perhaps something like a Renekton for the side of Mad Lions.
And interesting to see how much scaling will be picked up by both sides. Last week it felt like because there were Pantheons, because there were the Olafs, games would sometimes snowball out of control. We saw a lot shorter games overall, but this week it has been very slow, Caedrel. So how many scaling options the team drafts could prove very beneficial as we move later on. But the Orianna, as you mentioned, I'm ready to see a support pairing here. I'm glad, frankly, to see the Alistar. We have seen one Seraphine game from this bot lane. The MF Seraphine game did not go well. But as you already mentioned, the Kai'Sa, a good look. Limit on a playmaker. This is exactly what you want from the Schalke bot lane.
Yeah, I think something like a Victor or a Syndra can work really well for their team comp. But they could also pick jungle here because it might get a bit pinched even more than it already is. But I like the Kai'Sa Alistar pairing. You know, when you play Kai'Sa, you need something that can dive into the backline. Things like Thresh don't really work. Range supports aren't that great. Like Lulu could be fine, but things like Jarvan, Alistar, they just dive on them. You get the ult proc so you can ult in with your team, and you just want to keep diving. So I like that Schalke's comp's got lots of dive potential. We'll see how Mad Lions draft around it to make sure that they can counter it in a way. Now, we did see Elyoya go for something like the Kindred yesterday, I believe, into the Jarvan, which didn't really work. Essentially, he flash ulted in, he was too late, his teammate died, and he died with them. So I don't want to see him running back. I think the Samira works well in fights, can dash through the Jarvan ult perhaps to get out of it, and try to dodge away from the combos itself. But I think top lane and jungle are what I'm looking at here, because jungle can get pinched from Mad Lions, and they're going to have the last pick top as well, so they need to make sure they get a good pairing.
And Samira rising in priority a little bit this week, partially due to the fact that Shield Bow is looking like a pretty strong item on this current patch. We'll see what the bans are going to be here. Well, I'll be honest, I've got mixed feelings. On the one hand, I love that we have the J4 in the hands of Gilius. He has been such a big proactive playmaker for Schalke. On the other side, Carzzy getting an 80 carry as volatile as Samira. If you're a Mad Lions fan, you might be a little nervous because Carzzy has come into some lane phases and absolutely dominated. Him and Kaiser just taking over the lane at minute 1. And sometimes, well, he's ran it a little bit. And Samira is not a champion that falls behind very gracefully in the game League of Legends.
Yeah, I think the thing is with AD carries, if they fall behind and have a wave clear, it's not the worst. But Samira's wave clear isn't the greatest because she needs to step up. Also, she has single targets. So yeah, I think Mad Lions bot lane has been super volatile. The only thing that I want to highlight in this draft especially is when you're playing Jarvan for me as a jungler is something that you need to pair well with, whether it's like a Jarvan Orianna, a Rumble ult works well with it, and Ornn. It doesn't really work well with things like Irelia, Jax, Camille. So I'm kind of interested to see what BrokenBlade picks up here, whether it's going to be some kind of AP top, something like a Gragas, or even a tank to fit the Jarvan well. But with the Aatrox bans coming out, GP's banned away as well. The top lane pool is getting pinched, things like the Renekton are rising in prior, I think.
And all I want, I don't care what bruiser matchup it is Lilia's going to be the final ban here. I just want action, I want trading. If we get Sion Maokai, if we get a Sion on either side, I will be a very sad boy. Wukong, Camille, I would take it. Camille, still up and available.
Yeah.
Still strong.
But then you're going to run into BrokenBlade's Jax, which is not what you want to do as Mad Lions. So I think saving top last pick here is good. Going for something like the jungle works. Olaf into Jarvan is not the best matchup. Although Olaf can kind of out-farm him in a way, I think that Jarvan is just notoriously good into Olaf because you can ult him in fights, and if he has no flash, he's just stuck there and can't really run at you. So Schalke's mid lane pool has been pinched here. You know, Orianna's down, Syndra's down, TF, Zoe, Azir. So things like, I don't know really what the best picks here. I think Corki is fine because it scales pretty well. We're looking at Victor as well. These are the kind of off-meta scaling picks that will work well for Schalke, which pair well with the Jarvan.
Kind of waiting with bated breath here. The Gnar going to be the option, really taking their time on that mid lane pick because they're going to lock in a relatively safe blind pick top laner. Gnar Not the flashiest top laner in general, but can be a champion that builds up incremental advantages. Obviously a champion with a very high impact ceiling. In theory, you get 3 seconds of hard CC on 5 members, you've won the game. That is the reality of Gnar. The difficulty is it's pretty impossible to make it happen against a team that is ready for it.
The good thing about Gnar is it pairs well with Jarvan, and it's really hard to gank for the Olaf because you have the jump, right? So you can always avoid the Axe. So I like the Victor pickup. I like Schalke's comp. It's rounded out well in the 4-5 here. You've got lots of AoE zone control. You've got scaling as well, and you've got a very clear win condition, which is dive on the backline, try and take out Humanoid on this Orianna, try and take out Carzzy on the Samira. So I want to see what Mad Lions draft here, where they want to draft something like an Ornn or a tank to prevent the engage, or something that can kind of re-engage the fight, like a Camille that dives on their backline instead.
Don't forget what we asked for. Even if Ornn might be a solid pick, we wanted blood on the top side. We wanted to see the TCL showdown. We wanted a little revenge rematch. Armut and BrokenBlade, it's been a long time since they've had the opportunity, and I'm ready to see it. Jayce versus Gnar now. Before we can look at top lane, though, I think we have to talk a little bit about the comps holistically. You already brought up the synergy that Schalke are bringing to the table. I love the Victor, especially into the Olaf. Yes, Olaf can run through the gravity field, but nobody else can. But what else? What do you have your eye on here, Caedrel?
I think both comps have good ways of dealing with each other, right? So you've got the Gnar, Kai'Sa, Victor, which are really good at dealing with the Olaf, so it's going to be very hard for him to get in the fight. So in essence, Schalke's comp in pure 5v5 team fights should have the advantage with the amount of zone control they've got and the amount of range that they've got and dive potential. Whereas Mad Lions' comp is slightly harder to execute. If Jayce can get ahead against this Gnar, which is a winning matchup, Elyoya can play topside, shut down BrokenBlade, get this Jayce in the side lane so he can start pushing out the members of Mad Lions of Schalke, so he can push in the sides, get the team fights first and force BrokenBlade to TP and just keep playing those waves on bot or top, whichever side lane is on.
And we're going to have to find out if the execution will be in favor of Mad Lions today as we get ready for Game 3, Schalke No Fear versus Mad Lions. And as we set foot onto the Rift, we'll take a look across the map and see for now that there's not a ton of action going on. And Caedrel, I think we can kind of use this opportunity to talk a little bit about what we saw yesterday from both these teams, because while we heard a lot from the analyst desk about this top lane matchup and I've been excited to see it, both teams I think were wanting to come into today on a higher note than they did.
Okay, looking at the 2 positions on the map, I just want to highlight something more important here. I think that the fact is Mad Lions might poise for a topside invade here and split the map on the Jayce, which is going to be a big deal for Schalke because they're really going to struggle to help this Gnar out. And 2 things that happen. First of all, Limit went to top side, so Gilius warded bot side and swapped the sweeper. And now Mad Lions are looking for an invade, but it is warded.
Taking their time on this one. There's not going to be a leash, but the ward will spot out the pathing. Now that doesn't do a lot to stop the split map from happening. At the end of the day, you're going to need a little bit of lane prior if you want to shift things back. It's pretty impossible to do, honestly, in the early game. First axe going to go. 2 members now spotted. Of course, you already have the Schalke No Fear bottom lane leashing for the side of Gilius. So that does mean that Carzzy and Kaiser are just going to have to play very safe here on the bottom side of the map, but it does mean that Armut just gets to sit in this 1v1 where he is favored and bully as much as humanly possible in the early game.
Yeah, lots of key things here. Now the map is essentially fully split. Gilius is going to his bot side, Elyoya went for the Grom. So now we can confirm that this is a complete split map. Both teams are playing on either sides of the map, so they have to see how they want to push these advantages. The problem is for Schalke is they can't really force too hard onto bot if Mad Lions respect and they play a little bit far back and let the wave come into them. Whereas if Mad Lions get a good top wave, they can look for this 3-man dive with Humanoid's TP. So they need to make sure that this Gnar doesn't fall too far behind. Maybe Gilius has to give up a camp here and there to make sure he bases and covers the top dive if it does look to happen.
See how well Armut can build an advantage in the top lane, but the other member that we have to keep an eye on as we wait for the level 2 to come in here in the bottom lane is going to be Gilius. Now, Gilius yesterday and Schalke No Fear were taken down by Astrals. It was not pretty. Gilius put it a little bit more bluntly than I would. At the end of the day, it was a very difficult game for them, and now already seeing his early pathing disrupted, it's going to be pivotal for Gilius to find a way to impact the map, to get his team ahead, because from what we saw yesterday, it would not be enough to compete with a team like Mad Lions.
Yeah, definitely. And the Jarvan clears slower than the Olaf, so Gilius is going to struggle a little bit. It won't be the end of the world because he will get all his camps in the end because he'll go get his bot side respawn. But look at the speed difference, right? Elyoya's cleared 4 camps, he's already on his 5th, whereas Gilius just finished 3, he's going to his 4th still. So just a lot of tempo advantage there to Mad Lions because the jungle matchup's more in Olaf's favor in the clear. And I think that you could argue maybe Schalke could look for a 4-man bot dive perhaps, but I think if Mad Lions play the wave well and they thin it enough so that the wave doesn't stack, they should be fine because Schalke can't zone them away from thinning the wave. So yes, if they do stack a wave and they get an Alistar combo into Carzzy, there's a world where they can get a kill there, but I think that if this top matchup's in isolation, that's Mad Lions' win condition. Jayce is always the win condition on any team comp you draft, essentially.
Demands that attention, demands that support in these matchups. As long as he's isolated, he will continue to do well. You can see small, but not necessarily significant CS lead. His limit leaps forward. Good poke damage on the Kaiser, or Carzzy rather, and not a lot of follow-up from Kaiser either.
That was interesting. Kaiser actually used the stun there as Limit headbutted in, so he couldn't get the pulverize, so he couldn't get the knock-up onto Carzzy. Essentially knocked him away, and the trade wasn't as favorable as it could have been, but Elyoya has fully cleared every camp now, including the Crab, whereas Gilius is just finishing up on the Krugs. So Elyoya can either decide to stick around and take the top respawn, or look to base and try to get back on the map faster.
Bit of a handshake on the base, but of course Olaf going to be about 8 seconds, 9 seconds faster. Means he will have a little bit more active uptime on the map, and we'll see if Jayce is able to re-establish some top lane priority. It might not be so comfortable for Gilius to move into his own top side.
Okay, so the way the game's progressing is quite interesting. So the only thing that Mad Lions got out of this split map top is that Armut got a good base off, so now he has an item advantage, and he can threaten to freeze the wave here. Whereas on the other side, Mad Lions have actually decided to unsplit the map. Elyoya has gone to bot side, so there's not a huge net advantage in terms of camp or gold. The only real advantage that Mad Lions got from this split map was the base timing.
And of course, for Elyoya, we'll see if he's able to get anything done on the map. Now, it's important to note, we look back at the win conditions that you set out in the draft, Caedrel. We talked about from Schalke. Look, they can and they do have tools to be more proactive in the early game, Jarvan being one of them. But if they go later, the teamfight tools that they have put together are a bit more reliable, a bit more powerful than what Mad Lions can do. So when is the pressure actually on Mad Lions to try to pull ahead, to out-execute her in the early game, to actually make good on the draft that they put together?
So they need to make sure that Jayce gets an advantage in the early game. What Armut's doing here is actually a good start. You know, he needs to make sure BrokenBlade has to base, try and keep him in the lane. He does have an item advantage on this Jayce, so, and he has a wave pushing into him. And Gilius is pathing bot side, so that means BrokenBlade can't help break the freeze. So if Elyoya moves up here, they can force BrokenBlade's TP and then use that TP advantage to snowball the game, which is probably what you're looking for. Try and TP towards bot, get an advantage there, Drakes, get a dive going, maybe even use a TP mid or whatever it is. They need to get gold advantages on this Jayce so that it's ahead of the Gnar and you can actually push him in the side lanes. And then when it comes to the mid to late game, Armut is starting to hit your tier 2s in your face, and Schalke is going to have to say, well, we need to stop this from happening. And when they do, Mad Lions can look for an objective.
Also, just the potential we've seen before from Odoamne when playing this champion. The amount of damage you have mid to late game, hard to pull off in a team fight, but if you ever catch an isolated member with Jayce, you can essentially one combo the vast majority of the squishier members of the Schalke No Fear lineup. So we'll keep our eyes on that pick. But for now, top lane, a little bit maybe more calm than initially expected. Partially because we got Ninja Tabbies from BrokenBlade. Partially because there's a Cole in the back pocket of Jayce. So we're going to wait a little bit before we see anything else.
Yeah, look at this coordinated reset from Mad Lions. They're bot lane of base and they're coming out of base at the same time. So that gives the time for Elyoya to just walk in here, place a pink ward perhaps on the entrance red, and then just start up the dragon, because Neon's chilling in bot, just kind of freezing it. Limit is around, but Gilius is still clearing his camp. So the Mad Lions really ahead on time here, essentially tempo. They're into this river first, so if they want to start this Drake up, they can do it whenever they want.
Control ward in there, though, will at least give information over. Gilius in the area, Limit as well. We got 3 members for each side.
Could be a fight here. There's no TPs.
Orianna has a bit more. It looks like mid-priority. Hard to tell without the actual sight of the wave, but that's going to be the flash in. Gilius now getting engaged on the follow-up stun is immediately there. Now Limit going to try to find the disengage here, and that's just some proactive play from Mad. Limit going to get the double knock-up. Now flashed out to safety. All things considered, just a trade of spells, but that does mean that Mad will have priority access to the dragon if they want to take it.
Yeah, but they have to catch this bot wave. You can see Carzzy ran down there, some trading in top here. BrokenBlade might look for an ultimate. He does go for it.
Solid. Wall now going to get used. Jayce stunned up. Big damage now coming in. He turns mini just at the perfect time. 1, maybe 2 more procs on the Hyper, but still now we've got to trade in the mid lane. Abbedagge going to get snapped back by Humanoid. A little bit more damage going down. That's going to be the ultimate coming out.
There's a solo kill.
Not enough. Humanoid. Oh, baby.
There's fighting all around the map, and the control mages are the one who gets the kill. Humanoid solo kills Abbedagge in an Orianna Victor matchup, which is super surprising. Both of them still have flashed up, neither of them have TP, but that's a huge, huge factor when it comes to the scaling department on both these mages.
And Caedrel, I'm going to be completely honest, I wasn't ready for that solo kill because I was pretty sure that was against the rules. I thought when you played Victor Orianna, it was just the handshake to 30 minutes, wait for your team to do anything. But here we have Humanoid stepping up, showing up in the mid lane in a big way.
Yeah, I don't know, Humanoid got the solo kill, that's huge, but the game's evolving in a weird way now. So you can see Abbedagge is moving towards the bot side without TP, BrokenBlade's fast pushing top, and the bot lane of Schalke moved towards mid. So the map's all muddled up for Schalke. Do they want to start Herald now? They don't have Victor's TP. Mad Lions should be able to get there in time if they run towards top as well. So it's almost like a 5v4 on the top side of the map, and Abbedagge is just on an island bot side, so Schalke need to try and do something with the amount of time that they've got for this top side.
Carzzy has some isolated space just to farm, but it's not really going to amount to too much. Now it is Limit, Gilius, and BrokenBlade. There's going to be some good CC in this area, especially if BrokenBlade can get into the Mega Gnar form. And for now, it looks like Mad Lions will not contest the first Herald spawn. This is some guaranteed gold over to the side of Schalke. We'll
Just too late.
see what lane they want to use it on. But yeah, as you said, just a little bit too late to the party, ultimately not able to get anything done.
And just smart play by Schalke, right? They got solo killed in mid, and they knew they were losing dragons, so they were proactive. Essentially, they went for a cross map when it came to objectives, so their bot lane ran from bot to mid to top. They took Herald in Mad Lions' face because they knew by the time they finished Drake, they probably have about 15 to 30 seconds window before they can get to this Herald. We have enough time to do it. They take the Herald, but they did lose Platings in mid. Humanoid is now 15 CS up on this Orianna. He has a solo kill, and Carzzy is getting solo XP on his bot lane too. So Schalke, although they did get somewhat of a good play in the Herald, they're still down 1,000 gold. They're still down a dragon, and I think that the scaling on this Orianna is going to hurt them the longer the game goes on.
Yeah, in a difficult position to find themselves in, but again, Schalke proving to be very good at making these reactive plays on the fly, you know, assigning Victor to the bottom lane, bringing Gnar into mid lane to cover for a brief second, taking the Herald as well. So Schalke making good on the strength that we already know they have, which is being this smart team that can react to more aggressive teams very easily.
Yeah. BrokenBlade moving down here. Elyoya is going to have to pop the ult to avoid the knock-up, so ult traded there. He does lose the crab as well. Good play from Gilius there, noticing his priors, and you're completely right. I think Schalke is more of a reactive team. You can see them against top teams like G2 and Rogue. They actually beat these teams by being reactive. But when it comes to proactivity, in a sense, like yesterday against Astralis, going for these ganks kind of turned on its head. But Schalke doing pretty well so far, although they did get solo killed. They did pick up the Herald, but in the end, Mad Lions have been a bit more proactive in general in terms of getting the solo kill, moving their bot lane around the map to make sure that they get the Drake and such. So they just need to make sure that Mad Lions get this Jayce ahead. It's really good to get the Orianna ahead, but I think that the key point for them now is the Jayce. They need to get some resources invested into this top side.
And see where the deliberate focus on those resources goes, because again, Humanoid built that advantage for himself. So now going to see what Elyoya can do to really set up a lot of these lanes for success. As Kaiser wants to get a bit aggressive here. Carzzy with the follow-up. Gilius now in the area. Elyoya can come in, but he has no ultimate available. Limited trouble. No level 6 coming in. And Kaiser going to spin. Carzzy, a very aggressive play, but now he's set to get one shot. The dash out not nearly enough. Neon will get the kill traded back.
Yeah, that's a 1-for-1, and I just think it favors Schalke more because the AD carry's dead, right? Neon can get this whole wave for free, and there's no threat on him. So Carzzy going really deep there. He does pick up the kill onto Limit. Limit wasn't level 6, so that's why he flashed in and went for the all-in. But that does favor Schalke in a way, but Mad Lions, the only reason we're seeing these 3v3s in bot is because Gilius has Herald. So Elyoya is trying to go everywhere that Gilius goes so he can match the Herald to deny the tower, but there could be a 3-man dive here.
Limit though coming in now, still just level 5, potentially a little bit vulnerable here, but Humanoid locked up under tower. He's now going to try to walk up to safety. Limit taking a lot of damage. The ult going to be used. It doesn't look like it'll be too late, but Armut coming over the wall. Shock blast. Not going to connect onto anybody. Mad Lions burning a lot of resources there, but Schalke's staying strong, and there's really nothing for Mad Lions on the top side to get right now.
Good notice from Limit there. Runs mid straight from base to cover that dive, but we've got the replay here again, and both junglers want to hover around bot side because they want to match each other. And Elyoya notices they went for the play. Gilius sees it as well, but Carzzy goes so deep. Limit doesn't have the level 6 ultimate, so Carzzy picks him up, uses the ult to try and lifesteal himself up. But in the end, he does get taken down. It's a 1-for-1, and if it's an AD carry for support trade, it's always the team whose AD carry stayed alive that wins that, just because he can farm the wave while the other AD carry is dead.
And Caedrel's interesting because when we looked at this game, we looked at this top lane matchup, hell, when we looked at the draft, we kind of expected this to be Armut and BrokenBlade. You know, split jungle map, we thought, hey, there's going to be a lot of attention on top side. Matter trying to set him up for a good game. But at the same time, it feels like any time Carzzy steps onto the Rift with an AD carry that has a dash in its kit, it becomes the Carzzy show. I don't know. It's like he has to go in. And now, even if Mad Lions want to put some resources into the top lane, I feel like it has been, up until this point, kind of the bot lane show. Most of the action has happened around this bottom lane.
Yeah, we'll call it testing limits, right? Carzzy's not afraid to jump in on these dashes. I love to see it, you know, having so much volatility in bot. Elyoya notices it, and Mad Lions love to play through bot. So it's not a huge deal for them. The Jayce should outscale if it's even, or he does get slightly ahead. He should win into this Gnar. But we did see Schalke place the Herald mid, so they're not going to be able to force a first turret. Now, if you don't know where to put the Herald or you don't have any tempo on the map, putting it mid is always best because mid tier 1 is the most important tower in the game, in the early game. And Elyoya is hovering around this bot side, but both of these Schalke bot laners have flash. There is double TP on Mad Lions too if they want to fully commit to this, but Gilius is around.
They know Gilius is on the camp, though.
They can push him into them.
Now he's going to go forward. Neon walking in. He's going to try to dash out of safety. Carzzy into the backside. He's about to get the S rank. That's going to do it. There's no way Alistar has ult back up, but he does, and he's barely able to walk away, but not nearly enough in the end as he gets taken down. But Elyoya makes it the 1-for-1, and now Jarvan's in the midst of everybody, but that's Chocolate pulling back. Neon uncontested on the backside, doing damage, but he can't get to Carzzy, so Carzzy will live in the end.
That's a huge trade for Mad Lions. Humanoid moves down with the mid-prow. He gives up the mid-wave to make sure he's there, and Gilius, maybe he overestimated there. Maybe he thought the TPs were coming in, but what's going on in top lane? BrokenBlade's almost killed Armut. He's going to have to base here. BrokenBlade can't see him, so I'm expecting Armut to TP back here, but that's just huge for Schalke. You know, they did get the support for the AD carry trade, but it's just not enough. They got the support for the jungle trade, sorry, but then Gilius goes in and just dies as well, so Mad Lions pick up 2 kills, and Carzzy now on this Samira has a shutdown.
And that's big. Because remember, lifesteal is ultimately what you want on the Samira to get the maximum value out of that ultimate. We check in on the bot lane gold now. Carzzy's basically caught up at this point.
Yeah, Carzzy really caught up, and I'm confused why Armut didn't TP back there. He just lost a whole cannon wave and 2 plates to the side of BrokenBlade. So in this isolated top 1v1 matchup, which Mad Lions committed to a split map in, is a favorable matchup for Jayce. Armut's actually losing this, is leveled down, and Limit is sneaking here. He has Hex Flash to look for the combo. Armut's gonna have to react to the combo somehow with his flash.
Headbutt, Pulverize, doesn't even need to Hex Flash in. Armut now has to run for the hills. That's Ignite taking down the Hop use. 1, 2, 3 on the Hyper Proc. The flash forward, Grasp for the Undying, and BrokenBlade gonna finish the job.
Yeah, he needs to flash the combo if he wants to live there. Does flash in the end, but BrokenBlade flashes after him, gets the kill. Mad Lions cross-mapping bot. They got the Drake. 2 plates on bot tower as well, so you can see how this game's evolving in a different way, where BrokenBlade's getting advantage topside, and Mad Lions keep pushing resource into his bot side, getting plates. So both teams getting resources on opposite sides of the map to where they early invested in, which is quite weird, I would say, but BrokenBlade's almost taking down this tier 1.
Yeah, he is, and I mean, ultimately, looking like a very solid performance from BrokenBlade individually across this game. He's had some pretty big moments, and now when Armut finally uses TP, he's there for 3 creeps.
Limit's here.
Now Limit's here. We're going to hold that thought. They're just going to rinse and repeat. Now the TP's coming in, but BrokenBlade, he doesn't have Mega Gnar coming in, but he might not need it. That's so much early damage. Can't get the 3rd proc. Limit can get pulled back, but he still has ultimate. They burned all their damage into the Alistar. Abbedagge can try to do something, but he's in completely the wrong position. Oh no, Schalke. Oh no, it's an absolute horror. Abbedagge, this is not where you want to be. Execute would be the last remaining option here, but it looks like it won't be one, as Abbedagge has to run for the hills, trying to turn and burn, but he will just get burned down himself. Good news, Neon getting a lot of time on that bot lane turret. Bad news, the plates are already gone.
Yeah, this was just way too much. I think that Schalke tried to overreach and try and punish this TP. No flash. Limit thought that he could just tank the tower and go for it, but he didn't account for the TPs, he didn't account for the support jungle moving up, so Schalke kind of biting off more than they can chew there. Abbedagge is 0-2-0 on this Victor. I think the first one was a solo kill. This mistake again is just putting this Victor so far behind, and Humanoid on this Orianna is scaling super quickly into the mid game, and this is going to be a really big problem for Schalke, especially with these short range carries like Gnar and Kai'Sa. How can they really touch this Orianna with an Olaf in their face?
Going to be very difficult, and of course if you ever misstep, the follow-up combo with Carzzy having his ultimate up and available, the Inferno trigger is something that has to be respected. Now Limit trying to get some good vision here on the bottom side. With bot lane tower down, they could collapse onto Armut.
Armut, he's no flash, he's no vision.
And clearly Schalke respect. Oh my, this is not allowed. Armut, yeah, buddy, you're not supposed to be there. I don't know if you noticed, but you're getting camped.
You can't go for these. There's almost like lines in League of Legends, right? He has absolutely no vision towards the bot side. He only has shallow vision in his own blue side jungle, and he's trying to push out the bot wave past the tier 1 when his whole team is topside. So that death, I think, was slightly unnecessary there. And BrokenBlade on this Gnar is getting so far ahead. So the game's turned on its head for Mad Lions. I think this prio inside that they were supposed to have has gone as Carzzy flashes away from the combo from Limit. Good respect there, but the Herald's still going in top. Humanoid might go for tier 2 here.
And this is an incredibly chaotic game. Back and forth all across the map, but BrokenBlade definitely the one who's coming out on top. He's getting the support from his team. Meanwhile, Humanoid uncontested, the hop out. BrokenBlade doing a little bit more damage, but in comes Kaiser. This could be big. Neon on the backside, though. All it's going to take is a little bit of CC to give him the ult activation to turn this one around. BrokenBlade about to go mega. Do they want to commit for a big play? Wallop coming forward. The stun, the follow from Kaiser. He's trying to get it. That's an instant one-shot onto the Mega Gnar. Elyoya now on the chase. Gilius over the wall. Neon, no room for him to do any damage because Carzzy is coming in as well. But Neon's still there. The shutdown over the wall. He manages to snipe a single kill and make it out in the end.
Schalke salvaged the play. They get a shutdown on Neon. This Kai'Sa has 3-0-0. It's looking super strong, but I feel like both teams are getting advantages off of mistakes. You know, Schalke biting off more than they can chew there. Armut greeding for bot waves. I feel like they're just making so many mistakes to the point where the enemy team can get an advantage from it. But now Armut's somewhat back in the game. He got the kill. He might look for this bot tier 1. But Limit, does he see the bot lane of Mad Lions shadowing Armut in this bot lane here? He just saw them now. He's going to back off. They're committing a TP. They might go for this engage.
This is big. There's no Mega Gnar. Now BrokenBlade can chase. He's got the Stride Breaker. He's got the Boomerangs. He can bounce across the limit if he needs to get in. They're just going to walk it in. And Carzzy looks like he's just going to be sacrificed here.
Yeah, they looked for the bot tier 1, they didn't account for the TP. Another shutdown goes to Neon, so I feel like there's so much cross-mapping going on at the same time. Humanoid's pushing tier 2s, they're fighting in bot, then they're fighting in bot again, and Abbedagge takes a tier 1 top, so the whole game is just involved so many cross-maps, Jayce.
Caedrel, I would love to tell you what matters right now, but I have no idea. We have just watched... we're not in Fiesta territory yet, but there's been some, like... Armut's been getting camped all game, and the only way they could make it more clear is if they sent him a receipt for a tent tried to invoice him, and yet still, we've got action in that lane. Everyone is fighting, it seems like, wherever Armut and BrokenBlade are, which is, you know, good because they're lining up with the story that we wanted to tell, but what actually matters? Who are we actually keeping our eyes on now?
I think this is Neon versus Humanoid this game now. Both of them are super fed on their carries, both of them scale super well into the late game, and I think the reason we're seeing this difference in where the game's being played versus their win condition is Schalke had a losing mid and their bot lane was getting pushed in a lot, so they went to the winning lane, and BrokenBlade happened to win this 1v1 on his own. I don't think that he should have won this 1v1 in isolation. I think Jayce wins, but BrokenBlade got the advantage. Limit goes there. They put all their resources to BrokenBlade, gank his side lanes. He's the win condition now, but Neon has been scaling and picking up the kills on all the mistakes that Mad Lions have made, but Humanoid's also been doing the same thing. So this is almost like a Mad Lions Humanoid versus Neon. Mad Lions have 2 Drakes. It is the Cloud Soul, 10 seconds on this Drake, so I think Schalke might want to fight it, because if you drop the 3rd, you guarantee have to fight the 4th.
Execution is everything here. Proper Mega Gnar ultimate can instantly win a fight, but they have so many tools to disrupt it. The Rell, Olaf, who can just instantly tear through your backline. Schalke have the tools to win. BrokenBlade ready to rage out here. That's Gilius going in. The setup is clean. He can now leap into safety, but Rell trying to disrupt the bounce. The bounce! BrokenBlade. Oh no, he only hits 1! It's not quite enough, but still they're trying to turn the fight. Carzzy spinning through the entire team. He hasn't burned quite yet at style rank. Dashing through. Abbedagge after the side. Doesn't quite have enough damage, but it looks like Neon does. Ulting in. Armut now on the retreat, but they have to turn this. They have the damage, but no, the CC comes in. It's clutch. They turn right back! That was clean, the turn from Armut, just what Mad Lion needed. Elyoya with absolute confidence, and that fight was balanced on a knife's edge, but Alistar gonna have to run
get
for
taken
his
down
life.
here. Mad Lions get the 3rd Drake. That fight was so messy, but it turns into a 5-for-3 for the side of Mad Lions, and we said it before, Humanoid versus Neon, and Neon was the last survivor for Schalke, but the turn from Elyoya was clutch in the end, and Mad Lions picking up this 3rd Drake as we go into the replay of this fight. I mean, both these teams want to fight this dragon, and I think, look at Gilius. He goes in and gets the 3-man ult, and crucially, Humanoid decides to flash out of this, even though Gilius gets taken down. Now BrokenBlade is the 2nd form of engage. He gets the wall up into the wall, into the stun, and then Humanoid dies. And as soon as Humanoid dies, Schalke think, okay, we can win this fight. Get in there, everyone is piled in. Neon is on the backline 1v2, but the whole crucial point of this fight is that Neon lives, and Elyoya and Armut live as well on the backline, so it turns into a 2v2, support AD versus top jungle, and I think Mad Lions look like they might lose this, but this turn from Elyoya kind of won them the fight.
Ooh. And when we talk about the importance of summoner spells, that is it. Elyoya doesn't have flash there, they get run down, maybe they kill the Alistar, but they get dropped. And you see the damage in this fight. Damn. BrokenBlade only hit the ult on 1 person. That looked like the dream setup. Jarvan hitting 3 with the ultimate, it felt like it was impossible for him to hit any less than 3, but he only hits Orianna. So when you see the end damage numbers, Armut did so much in that fight.
That's surprising, because BrokenBlade was so fed in this fight, and Armut's not been having the greatest game, but in that fight, he essentially just carried it by the looks of the damage, and Mad Lions now 1,500 gold lead. The Jayce is online. That's crucial now because he's going to win the side lane. He has the Eclipse. He's got the mana immune. He is scaling really well. 4 kills, 400 gold shutdown. And if you look at what happened in the early game, Armut was almost out of the game from the dive in top, losing his top tower, losing his TP, but now he's sitting very, very comfortable on this side lane now, and I think Mad Lions have unlocked their win condition.
Yes, they certainly have. Keeping our eyes on Armut and Humanoid in the fights to come, the big shockwaves and the big damage that can't come from that Jayce if he's uncontested in the fights. Have a feeling now, though, that he'll have a bit more of a target on his back, especially with a 400 gold bounty as well. But that said, I mean, this is a game where it was hard to know what to expect from both these teams after lackluster performances yesterday, but it has been an absolute brawl across every single lane.
Yeah, and you might be wondering, why is Armut not bot? Why is he not the one pressuring BrokenBlade? Well, BrokenBlade's gone full armor and Humanoid's fed with TP as well. Humanoid's a level up on BrokenBlade, so that means Humanoid will beat BrokenBlade even harder because he has hardly any magic resist, whereas he does have the splated steel caps to go against Armut. So essentially what they've done is they swapped the lanes to make sure that Armut's against Abbedagge, he wins. Humanoid's against BrokenBlade, he wins. Both have TP, so maybe they can set up on the map properly, but the problem is they're not getting any mid push. So that's why Humanoid comes through to mid with his bot push to help them get the push. And now Mad Lions can try and set up and look for some kind of Baron or some Baron vision around that area and just keep pressuring all 3 lanes.
Yeah, and an awkward position for a number of the members, especially on the Schalke side. Gilius, of course, bits and pieces towards the second item. Would really love to have that Sterix gauge. And Abbedagge delaying his own spike in the form of the Archangel Staff by going for a bit of grievous wounds with the Oblivion Orb. Very important against the Samira, Olaf, and Jayce. I think it's probably a fine decision, but does mean that a bit more of the damage burden is going to be on Neon. Only at 2.5 items, though, just a little bit ahead of Carzzy at this stage. Would really like to get to a 3rd.
Yeah, and the key thing is Mad Lions don't have flash on Humanoid. That's really, really big, especially when you're against Jarvan, Gnar, Alistar, Kai'Sa. All these champs just want to dive on your face, so Schalke, when Mad Lions flash has come up, it's going to be a bit difficult for them to actually dive onto Humanoid again, because he does have the stopwatch. Kaiser Try to look for the ult, but Lim is re-engaging it. The TP's coming in.
TP on the side. BrokenBlade doesn't have too much of the rage bar stacked up. They're going to look to retreat, but Gilius is going in anyway. The entire team is collapsing. Shockwave does manage to hit about Abbedagge. Carzzy spinning on the backside, dashing through, looking for the reset. Style rank what you have to watch. But Neon and BrokenBlade uncontested. Keep your eyes on that Gnar. Where's it going to go? Unstoppable Olaf, but he's going to get shredded down by Neon. It's a split fight, but for now, Mad are winning. They need to get out now, though. If they extend this fight any longer, BrokenBlade will find kills, and he'll turn it the flash forward. The wall up into 2, but now Kaiser with the re-engage. Neon off to the side. Look at that Jayce damage. My God, the hyper proc is a bit too much. Mad Lions taking the fight.
Armut jumps over the wall and one pops Neon. Schalke thought they could chase that, but it looks like Mad Lions are going to turn the fight. Armut out of vision, jumps on Neon, takes him down, and Mad Lions are going to get this Baron. There were so many micro things in that fight, which are just incredible to watch. Carzzy blocking auto attacks. Humanoid didn't have flash. Gilius decision making. There were so many cool things.
I mean, yeah, and we just let's watch it again.
Yeah, I think Kaiser here, he tries to go for some kind of flash ult on Neon, but he doesn't realize that Neon was backing off, and Limit goes for the engage, the TPs come in, and I think there's loads of important things that happen here. Gilius fails his combo, so then he says, okay, Humanoid has no flash for like 30 seconds, just go. Flashes in, can they take down Humanoid? Everyone's committing on him, and Neon's the backline damage threat. And then you can see here, Carzzy blocks the autos when Neon jumps in to stop Humanoid from being taken down, and then essentially Schalke know that if they don't carry on chasing Mad Lions here, Mad Lions can just reset, heal up, and start the Baron, so they have to chase him down. BrokenBlade has the flash, and as soon as they get the re-engage, it looks good, but Armut out of vision on the side, Neon doesn't see him, and then he hits the QE combo onto BrokenBlade, jumps over the wall, uses the hammer form, takes down Neon.
And that right there is such a small thing. But there is no flash on that Jayce.
Damage again.
There's no flash on that Jayce. Literally, if Neon had any information, he just walks away from that wall a little bit, and Jayce can't Q into onto it. But you saw it. Activate the W in cannon form, swap to hammer, leap in, bop, 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 a couple backhands to send him home. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, Mad Lions, they have the Baron, they're getting the Cloud Soul, and the Cloud Soul isn't the greatest on champions like Jayce, but it is on Olaf and things like the Samira, so for sure. Cloud Soul picked up, Baron picked up. Where does Schalke want to find the win conditions? Yes, they have really good team fights, yes, they have really good engage, but they need to find the right targets, and I think their only target right now is Carzzy because everyone else has flash.
Keep our eyes on how these fights are going to continue to go, because again, credit to Armut, he looked down and out. We have to say it again. Now he's coming back to this game. Now he's got the Serelda's grudge. He's going to slow anybody he hits. There is no getting away from this man in a 1v1. And somehow, despite the fact that this champ looks useless in every game I watch where it has to team fight, Armut has found a way back-to-back in team fights. It is now 6-2-6 on the champion. Put some respect on this man's name. He is doing work.
Definitely doing work here, and I think he definitely wins the side lane now. They have double TP. They can set up in 1-3-1. They can set up in 1-4. How do Mad Lions want to approach this? Because they have the Baron still. They have the Cloud Soul. Mid-tier 1 still up, so that's definitely their objective.
For Mad Lions, have to bring it home. We always praise Mad Lions for their early aggression. Getting Cloud Soul, massive. Getting Baron, huge. I mean, they are set up for a big Elder Drake play, but Schalke still have a lot of team fighting tools. We saw how when Schalke were willing to pull the trigger aggressively and as a 5-man unit, they even took down Rogue. Something Mad very much could not do yesterday. But that said, it is a massive, massive deficit. 5K not, 6K not insurmountable, but when there's a Cloud Soul to back it up and a very fed Jayce, it's going to be hard to start these fights off on the right foot.
Yeah, Schalke need to find some kind of perfection in fights, some kind of overlapped CC on Humanoid to make sure he gets taken down before he can flash away. His limit gets chunked away from the Axis and the QE from Jayce there, and Mad Lions set up in this 1-4. They want to make sure they crack this mid-tier too, so Humanoid is probably going to push in this bot wave, try and hover around his mid laners as they get the tier 2, and they just want to control this bot side jungle so they know the Humanoid can't get engaged on, and they can push freely, make sure there's no vision on them.
Back. He has no hop cooldown anymore. He has no flash either. Humanoid just walking him down. Now Carzzy going to step forward. This is big. Mad Lions already finding one. Gilius now has to run. The flag and drag combo comes out, but Kaiser pulls him back. That's 2 quick kills. Carzzy not quite going under the tower, but he feels like maybe he could have.
That Samira was a race car, Drakos. He had the Cloud Soul when he popped the ultimate. He was really looking for it, and Mad Lions don't have the Baron anymore, so Abbedagge can clear these waves. Are they just going to have to back off regardless of getting 2 kills? Looks like they might have to.
Formula 1 moments with Carzzy. Yeah. Good he didn't take that corner. Might not have worked out for him, but here we see the 1v1. Ooh, that hurts.
Yeah, I think he wanted to get the ult there so Neon could ult in as well, but he actually doesn't get it, so Neon couldn't engage, so BrokenBlade was kind of stuck there, so Humanoid's play was actually bigger than it looked with that stopwatch, stopped the Neon getting into the fight, and then from there on Mad Lions chase him down. Such a good engage from Kaiser to stop Gilius getting out, and then Carzzy with the Cloud Soul does manage to get away, but he definitely wanted to go deeper. You could see it in his eyes.
And I think, again, so awkward for BrokenBlade. Now, the first ult, you're going to have to trade something for Zhonya's at some point, but then whiffs the Wallop as well. not quite getting the timing right. And Humanoid now level 17. Carzzy now finishing his 3rd item. He's at the 60% crit chance, so he's going to be hitting like a truck with that Infinity Edge. And earlier in the game, it was, you know, it was Neon versus Humanoid. That's what we wanted to talk about. Top lane, that turned out to be wrong. Then we wanted to talk about Neon versus Humanoid, wrong again. Now it is Armut and Carzzy popping off in these fights, and I just, who on Schalke can actually save the day now?
That's a good question. I mean, Abbedagge needs more items. Neon needs a couple more items as well, because Mad Lions are just way too far ahead, 7,000 gold. And the carries of Humanoid and Carzzy, one of them is just such long range and one of them can jump in on the snap of a finger, so it's really hard for Schalke to find the right engage and find the right target as Mad Lions look for the engage.
Mad Lions look like they found that engage, because goodbye to Neon, man. You cannot stand there. Carzzy can go wherever he wants, though. The silence comes out, the heal still coming in. That is so strong. Carzzy going to be able to walk this one out. A dash back to his allies. You're going to be happy on live patch. I'm pretty sure that one's removed.
Mad Lions just punishing Schalke walking up in mid. They have the Cloud Soul, so as soon as they pop the ult, they go, so they jump on Neon instantly. And 2 members of Schalke dead. Can they find some kind of wave clear to defend the Nexus? I think that they're just going to go straight to the end here. If Mad Lions want to push more, they realize they don't have the Baron. There's nothing to stop the wave clear. They don't really have any more engage tools, so take what they get the 2 more kills, back off again, because this Baron is spawning really soon, but might look for BrokenBlade here. He does have Flash.
Oh, and again, trying to find the re-engage. A lot of cooldowns burn there, but no CC sticking. BrokenBlade pretty fast, all things considered. Has both the Dead Man's Plate and the Force of Nature, so is set up to run for his life pretty well, all things considered, from an itemization perspective.
And Mad Lions question mark pinging these side waves. They know they need to base because they've been here for way too long. They need to catch these waves hitting tier 2s. So they are going to decide to just push this mid wave and back off, although they might look for some kind of engage because Schalke's hovering around. The Baron's spawning, so they want to get vision around it. So Mad Lions have dropped the ball a little bit here by staying way too long.
And keep in mind, Neon still can shred this. Kai'Sa, an absolutely excellent Baron killer. Elyoya does not have Flash. He will have to walk through that team. And yes, he can go unstoppable, but still a difficult task to do so.
Look at limits.
Shockwave, though.
He's looking for the engage. He's going to go for the combo on Carzzy.
Q. He's not going to get it. Limit now has to ult early. The rest of Mad Lions now collapsing. Schalke really lost most of the advantage they've had. Kaiser to the backline, locking up multiple members, and now Armut into the middle of the team. Now still, Elyoya just powering through the backline. There are too many damage threats. Schalke cannot stand strong against the Mad Lions. The double kill for Elyoya. They're now set up to take the Baron, but they may just set their sights on the game. Armut hungry for blood.
No flash on
BrokenBlade.
BrokenBlade.
It's feeling a little personal. Is he going to donate it? He is. Carzzy lets it go over.
This Jayce is so strong, and you could see Schalke went for the miracle play on the miracle run, but they couldn't find the engage onto Carzzy. Mad Lions turn the engage. They're just way too far ahead. And look at Armut, 8-2-12 on this Jayce. The game started off so rough for him, but he's just been so strong after this team fights around Dragon.
What a turn from their performance yesterday. Mad Lions absolutely destroying Schalke in these fights. They're now going to end the game. They're going to tie up Schalke, ending the first round robin at 5-4. But hey, it's the last game. Might as well make the most of it. Trying to get a few more kills, trying to get a Shockwave, but the Nexus will drop first.
Yeah, and I think the biggest factor of this game was Humanoid. He essentially unlocked the whole game for Mad Lions with that solo kill in mid, started the snowball, got the Drake, and then the bot ganks came in. And although Armut fell behind in the early game because of where the jungle pressure was, he recovered so well in the team fights and picked up so many kills.
We literally watched the death montage for Armut, where he just got collapsed on like 3 times in a row, and then one team fight, and he suddenly gets a bunch of kills, an extra item, and then for the rest of the game, he's pumping out 5k damage every single team fight.
And one of those team fights, he was like 1-2-1 or something. He had absolutely no kills, no business in doing that much damage in a fight, but he did it in the end, and they turned onto Neon and got him down.
Yeah, Jayce looked pretty good in the hands of Armut, but key player of the game. He's going to be one of your options. At LEC on Twitter is the place. It is going to be Armut, Humanoid, or Carzzy. Tell us who you think. Honestly, there's a lot of good options here.
There is. Carzzy popping off in fights, Humanoid solo kill, Armut recovering. It's a nice little storyline you've got there of the 3.
Ooh, narrative. We love to see it at the LEC. We've got 2 very different teams facing off in a game 4 that was Fnatic's aggressive style is going to be tested against the late game kings Excel.
Love it.
Yeah, I consider Fnatic being a little bit weaker than before. I think Reckless and Hylissang had a really strong synergy, and I'm not sure if like Upset and Hylissang will be able to build that so fast.
As soon as he tries to jump back in, and now Treats is on the front line. Jezu ripped through.
Patrick is a stable player, but he's not outstanding.
Not a fight that G2 can afford to take. Whippo into the back line, my God!
I'm feeling like it's pulling me under. You tell me take my hand and trust me if you can. I know I'll be okay if I hold you, and I'm not letting go. You've woken up this feeling inside me. It's opened up my eyes, this thing I cannot hide. Do anything to keep it around me, and I'm not letting go.
Welcome back to the LEC. Mad Lions come out victorious after a very convincing game here against Schalke 04, and I have Armut with me to talk about the game. Hi.
Hello. Hello.
Thank you for joining me. We've been talking about the matchup, you versus BrokenBlade, on the top lane before the game, but how was it playing against him?
Actually, I should be able to winning this Jayce Gnar matchup, but I kind of lost it, so I'm actually sad about it in game. I kind of failed my level 1, so he won the lane with Gnar, so I'm not that happy, but we win the game, so that's okay.
Let's say you recovered later in the game, and actually there's a team fight I want to show you, the team fight for the third Drake. I want you to tell me about the communication during this fight, because it didn't start off well, but you managed to turn it around.
Yeah, because I think Gilius was like a bit too deep, and our Rell did really good job, and I was just shouting, Gnar Mega, run, like, so we played really good against Gnarls, Mega Gnars actually this game. So, and we played, like, my team played really well in team fights, me also, I guess, so we won.
You guess, huh? You're not sure, because when I look at this, it looks like you did a lot of...
Oh, this one was pretty close, I should have also flashed to Alistar combo.
Wow. Yeah, nice coach in the end, but as I said, yeah, you recovered from it pretty well, and it looks like the community agrees with me here because you got player of the game here, Armut. So
I think
bad start, bad few levels. Okay, go ahead.
I think I didn't deserve it, to be honest. It should be maybe Kaiser, Elyoya, or Marek, maybe Carzzy. Like, it's not me. I don't think so. Because I mean, I played good in team fights, but I think they carried me in like many team fights, so I came back in the game. Otherwise, I would not be able to do anything this game.
Well, nice praising the teammates, but still, I mean, when you look at the stats, you dealt the most damage among every player this game. So obviously you did what you had to do here with Jayce, but nice to throw some praise for your teammates here. And changing the subject, last question I have for you. We're halfway through the season here in Spring. You met every team. What's your take on Mad Lions' performance, success, improvements as we get into the second half of the season?
I'm not happy with how are we playing, to be honest, right now, because like in scrims we are doing much better, like as usual, I guess that's what every player says. But like one game we are really doing nothing, and one game we are doing okay, but we are never perfect. But like in scrims we are also doing some perfect games, but we just didn't show it this season, this split. I mean, first half. So I'm pretty sure like we have so much to learn, and like we need a little bit of experience too, I guess, to show everything we got, and we will be much better team. Yeah, I think we will be like really good team later. I mean, we are also not bad right now.
You're not bad. I mean, and yeah, that's all I can wish you right now. You guys are 6-4 after the beginning of the split, so I guess that's a pretty good start. But yeah, I hope, Armut, that you will get to the level you're wishing with Mad Lions. But that's all for us now. Thanks a lot for the interview, and I'll see you again next week for week 5.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me, and we're going to take one last break, and we'll come back in a few minutes with Fnatic versus Excel. Stay tuned.